Yes.
But who was the coach then? They didn't win no championship. That's all I want to say. He came off of a bad staff.
Yeah, but look what he's doing now.
Oh shit, coach! That don't mean he ain't a good assistant. That don't mean he ain't.
I mean, hold on. He had Valley competitive.
Yeah.
I tell you what. But you saying that, but hey, what about Coventry? Because Coventry won at Jackson State. Coventry won at Tuskegee. Sam Shade could be at Valley right now. I don't feel the same way about Sam Shade at Valley as I do Terrell Buckley at Valley.
Let me
ask you this here, Zoe, before we move on, because I want to hammer this point. Could Deion Sanders do what he did at Jackson State at Valley?
I don't believe so. No.
I don't believe to the magnitude that he did it.
No.
I don't believe to the magnitude. And I had the same argument with my homeboys. I don't think he would have done it to the magnitude that he done it. You know, Eddie Benny ain't even a media place. Shit, you know. But here's the thing, the guys I see, of course, through my lens, because you know I've done it. You know,
what couldn't he have overcome in Inabino? That's why I'm asking.
I mean, take a pick.
I will say that he would not have gotten the level of players to come to Inabino. I don't care who he was.
I had an argument about would the Heisman Trophy would have came to Inabino to play for Deion.
No,
I said no. That's what I said.
No way.
Rocky, have you ever been to Inabino?
No, sir.
Okay.
When you go, you want to
my college room.
In a small town.
The only thing I know is my college roommate Tyrone Montgomery, the little brother of Wilbur Montgomery, and my roommate in college. He was from somewhere around there. I want to say he was from Greenville, and he was country as a pork chop sandwich. And
Montgomery played back up to Walter Page, left Jackson State, ended up going to somewhere in Texas.
Abilene Christian, wasn't it like some Abilene something?
Abilene Christian.
So Wilbur was at Jackson State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the white man came and got him, actually illegally.
All right. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy.
Not on the field because he was behind Walter Payton and Ricky Young.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy, and then y'all answer this question. How come every head coach or coach who comes from the Nick Saban tree go right to the championship? They were nothing before. They go work on Nick Saban's staff and go. My brother worked on one of his staff, and they go straight to the championship. Tell me why? Because they've been in a. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because they know how to cross T's and how to dot I's because they learned them from a championship. See, you guys are kind of talking it from the outside, nothing away because you guys are very, very knowledgeable. Never taking nothing away. But when you're on the inside and you see a program goes from nothing to something, and you got a head man in front of you that's crossing the T's and dotting the I's and wearing your ass out about why you don't know where this is, and you see those guys that start embracing that and seeing where that's important at. But one thing about Nick Saban, he can't keep a coach long now. Them guys are flying out of there, but they're flying to these head jobs. Look at them, boy at Sarkeesian, Texas.
Well, let me say this. This is one, and Zoe, tell me why this doesn't happen on HBCU level. In my opinion, if I'm Prairie View, who else had a vacancy in the SWAC this year? Alabama State. Alabama A&M,
and Valley.
If I'm one of those guys, I'm taking somebody off Jackson State staff. They're not just gonna keep the same coaches and do the same thing next year. I'm getting somebody.
Wait, Rocky. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna go with Terrell Buckley. You can say what you want to get. That don't mean they're gonna come there. Why would somebody from Jackson State leave to go up to Mississippi? It's not happening. Terrell Buckley just told you that. Why you say
Terrell Buckley this?
Because Terrell Buckley told us it was guys he wanted that just like, bro, and I'm talking, these his brothers. Like, bro, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm saying, where does Coach O get a head job at if it's how does Coach O and the defense coordinator turn down a head job at Valley, Prairie View, or Alabama A&M? How do they turn those jobs down?
Because guess what? You don't just take a head coaching job just because a head coaching job is available. I mean, because if I want a job, I still want a job where I can feel like I can have some success. I mean, look, there's no data to show you that you can have success at Valley. So why would I take that job at Valley when I've seen what it is and what it looked like?
What about Prairie View?
Okay, well, guess what? My thing is, I'm happy where I am. Coach O's from Jackson. And I'm going to say this, unpopular opinion, not every assistant coach wants to be a head coach.
That ain't no unpopular opinion. That's a fact. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's a lot of guys that just want to coach. And they don't want the headache of the
I'm going to tell
politics.
you this. It ain't too many guys going to turn down no damn head job.
No. And here's the deal at Prairie View. You're talking about 340. At Prairie View, you're talking 340. How many of those guys on Jackson State staff can turn down 340?
Well, I mean, he's not getting paid no 340. What are you talking about?
What?
340 what?
1,000.
Nobody from Valley made no $340,000.
No. I said Prairie View.
Oh.
Prairie
But see, hold on. See, now you're going back to my point. So there's not turning it down because Prairie View had a person like Tremaine Jackson that at the high level wanted that job. See, hey man, choices are made because of what the girl looked like. Okay. Let's go back to my point.
I want y'all check his background. Every coach, check Tremaine's background.
I'll tell you what. Tremaine got what he got paid because of his resume. Not every coach that's going to coach at Prairie View is getting paid the same amount of money. Willie Simmons didn't get paid $340,000 at Prairie View.
But Willie Simmons didn't come from a Division II national championship.
You just proved my point. You proved my point. What I'm saying is,
he was getting 300 at FAMU, and he hadn't won nothing.
So what I'm getting at, but FAMU was a blue blood job in this space. What I'm saying,
and he was winning 9 games. I tell you what, you start winning 9 games, 3-4, so you're gonna get that money
because he was a champion.
But that's
he won at Alcorn. He won at Prairie View.
You can't say I'm going to turn down $3,000 or $4,000 because everybody's not getting the same offer. But I want to pose this question to Coach because you mentioned Jerry Mack a little while earlier, right? So I'm going to ask you this because back when we first hired Harold Jackson, there were 3 finalists for the Jackson State job, right? And Harold Jackson should be an NFL Hall of Fame, former Jackson player.
I'm gonna say something so when you finish. Go ahead.
Hold on. There were 3 finalists for that job. It was Harold Jackson, Tony Hughes, and Jerry Mack. And Jerry Mack is a former Jackson State player, by the way, for y'all that don't know.
I recruited him, coach, out of high school. Been knowing him since he was 19.
Watch this. Those were the 3 finalists. Jackson State goes and hire Harold Jackson. We saw the way that goes. And then he gets let go. So they say, hey, let's right or wrong, and we're going to hire Tony Hughes. So the one guy that we didn't hire leaves that interview and gets the job at North Carolina Central. Proceeds in his very first year to win the MEAC or tie for a championship with the MEAC. So, Coach, here's the thing. So before Jerry Mack won at North Carolina Central, what was he doing?
He was being an assistant coach.
Okay, then. So what winning pedigree does he have?
Playing at Jackson State, maybe?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. So again, because his first year he had TC Taylor at that time.
What was guaranteed that he would take?
At that time, TC Taylor became the OC. Do you know where TC Taylor came to North Carolina Central from?
No.
Do you know what?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Do you know where TC Taylor joined Jerry Mack at North Carolina Central?
From a junior college in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, Coach. Go say that again.
I said, do you know where TC Taylor was prior to being at North Carolina Central?
No, I don't.
At Texas Southern.
At Southern University?
Texas Southern.
Oh, okay. Right.
And you know he wasn't winning there.
No, he wasn't.
So all this winning pedigree that you said that you got to have because they won the MEAC 3 years in a row or tied for the crown 3 years in a row. So what winning pedigree did they have?
Okay, you found one straw in the haystack.
It's a bunch of them. It's a small haystack and it's a bunch of them.
But go now, Joe. Let's go back to Harold Jackson, the professional football player, 60 years old, gonna come back and turn around Jackson State.
Okay,
how did that work out?
You saw the way it worked out. I mean,
then we went in hard. PWI, my man, after him. How did that work out?
It didn't work great.
How did Coach Bell work out?
We don't mention that name.
Okay, thank you. That answers my
But
question.
hold on, because Bell had a great resume. I mean, he was a coordinator at Wake Forest, coached in Indiana. All the things that you say that you love, he had that.
No. So Wake Forest and Indiana, I don't even have to do the research.
What you mean? No, he wasn't the head. Hold on. He wasn't the head coach.
No. I'm saying that neither one of those programs are winning pedigree.
No. Again, you quote the wrong thing. When it relates to his resume, you're looking at you can't say winning programs.
Okay.
He was experienced.
Hold on. Because at that time, Indiana had a damn good defense. His resume was actually good. You can pull it up now.
Yeah, I know
His
Coach
collegiate resume was good. He was
Bell. I
horrible
know
coach.
Coach Bell very well. I know he's
Horrible
very,
coach.
Yeah.
So, but guess what? His resume was
He's a good man, though.
Hold on. His resume was everything that Coach loved. He got quiet, didn't he? Everything that Coach loved, his resume had.
No. I'll keep on telling you. I know him personally, Coach. I mean,
Okay.
I know him. His family, great man, and everything else. But he was not an HBCU guy.
Okay.
Period. But I'm not saying because he didn't go to HBCU.
But his
I'm
resume,
saying his personality.
but his resume was everything the way you like. We did it the way that you would like to have it done. Can we not?
No, let's go to this, though.
So he want to change something now.
Man, let's go to this. How do you feel about the administration's hiring practice?
Who?
Because one thing we all can agree on, in PWIs, they're going after championship guys because we understand that it's important. I mean, they got a reason to.
But they may
go
go
ahead.
ahead too.
You agree with HBCU's hiring practices?
Some instances, yes. There are some examples where they got it way wrong, and there are some examples where they got it right. You look at the way FAMU went about getting Willie Simmons. That was the correct way to get a coach.
So let me
hold on 1 second, right? Because I'm gonna give you an example. What Jackson State did in getting Deion Sanders, it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And
I don't think nobody questioned that.
Hold on. And they went about the right way. In succeeding Deion Sanders, Jackson State went about it the right way. FAMU getting Willie Simmons, they did it the right way. I remember when A&T, they were old and forever. They made a damn good move going after Rob Broadway. It made sense, and it was the right hire to do. So, yeah, there are instances when they do the right thing. Trey Oliver is just like T.C. Taylor at Jackson State. That was a damn good hire for Central, right? You know,
So you saying what I'm saying? All them guys have been in championship programs. Everyone you've named has been a champion.
Let me ask you a question, Zoe.
Shoot.
Let's because I want you to look at a recent hire by HBCU program within the last 2 years. What did you think about the Dishman hire?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I think it was a good move for Texas Southern.
Do you think it was okay? Did you think it would have been better?
May I ask you why? May I ask him why?
Okay.
I mean,
Why?
Coach, they've been doing.
Did you see his resume? Have you seen his resume?
I'm not.
Maybe I need to send you his resume and then bring you back on the show.
Hold on. Actually, for Texas Southern, no resume is needed. I mean, they've gone about it the way that you want to do it in the past, so what has it gotten them? I mean, so again, they've done it the way that you want it done. What has it gotten them, Coach? So, because watch, hold on. His resume was standing. What was Texas Southern record last year?
Was it 5-7 or 4-7?
He was 5-7.
5-7.
Hold on, it's 5-7. Do you know the last time Texas Southern won 5 games, Coach?
Yeah, when Daryl Ashbury was there.
Okay, then. How many years?
Like 2012.
Okay, then it's the year of our Lord, 2025. My math is there, but that's 13 years.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
But that's not the question. Wait, hold on, Rocky. But that's not the question. The question is, and like I said, we got to do this. Was Fred McNair the better hire though?
Thank you.
That's actually the question that needs to be asked. Who would you rather have? And Coach, this is no disrespect to you. We're just asking the question. Fred McNair, that's who they wanted to have the job. Point blank.
You know, I like champions. In Texas, we need to win some championships.
So
out of win with Fred.
No, it takes so you need to win a championship.
That's what I'm saying. A
No,
championship.
with a plural. You need one championship.
But hey, look here. Now we about to start a goddamn fight on here because I ain't letting mine go. Your homeboy fucked me. And look, I'm talking crazy. This is my show. I won the championship.
Rocky, you better mute it. Right now you better mute it. Rocky, you better mute it.
We 3 guys on the damn field, and we whooped ass.
Yeah, we had to mute you, Coach. No disrespect, but we gonna mute you before you say something you gonna regret later.
Well,
but
listen, listen. Trust me, them boys listening. I know this for a fact.
But let me
we
say this.
We gonna get banned like Scott.
Coach going crazy, man.
So they led you, Coach Campbell led you where I was going. If you were sitting in Granger's seat, right? Would you be more comfortable with Fred McNair or Chris Dishman?
My truthful, honest answer is it depends on what it is that I'm trying to do for my program. So hold on, I'm serious. No, listen, just hear me out. You say win, but again, bringing McNair to Texas Southern doesn't guarantee he's going to win and have success there. It doesn't. You just feel better about it because you've seen him do it at Alcorn, so that just makes you feel better or more comfortable with the hire. Chris Dishman from Houston, played with the Oilers, got personal relationships, and I'd be damned, he went 5-7 his first year. I mean,
so do you count the Lincoln whatever game too?
Man, look, it's on the schedule. Hold on, and Texas Southern can't sit there and say we're gonna put an asterisk about it's Texas Southern. Look, hold on, Coach. I'm sorry, but do you know what we call them in Mississippi? We call them Texas Valley. In Mississippi, that's what we call them. Mississippi Valley, Texas Valley.
True. It's true, Coach. We ran by guys from Mississippi.
My truthful answer, Rocky. My truthful answer. I'm not trying to be broad. My answer. I'm serious. It depends on what Kevin Granger is trying to do. I know Texas Southern just got a brand new weight facility because again, one thing about McNary is you see him at his height. It's bland. It's not going to check. Can he win some games? Yes, he can. But what does it look like? If I'm trying to recharge my program, change the look of it outside of just wins, I get Chris Dishman because he's a Houston Oiler. There's relationships there. He's from Houston, played there. It has a different feel and flavor to it if he wins more so than when McNair wins. Because when McNair wins, it don't move the needle. That's a fact.
What did
I like that what you said at the end between those two gentlemen. I think that's true, but of course, I don't know, guys. I'm just more of I like more security. Nothing's perfect.
You won't guarantee.
That's be exact.
But
when I'm doing something and want something in charge, I like some type of something I can hold on to. So that's just kind of.
You won't save money, Coach. You ain't about taking no risk. You won't save money. Go on, say it. You want guarantees. We all do. Yep. Because we want comfort. We want the best, surest thing as possible. But there ain't no sure thing in sports. You got to take a risk. No risky, no biscuit, baby.
So you weren't on here when we posed this question, but I really like to hear your opinion on it. In the HBCU space, do you when it comes to hiring head football coaches, do you think word on the street has too much influence in who gets hired and who gets passed over?
No, it used to be that way. Now we don't. I can give an example. Again, every school is different. I would say, man, in the mid-90s up to the early 2000s, you can count Jack State that number. You can't include Jack State that number no more because ain't no committee, ain't no group thing.
Hold on, Coach.
Hold on. Ashley Robinson is making that hire on his own. It's different. Could you have a street committee at Valley maybe that could probably do something? Maybe so.
I was going to say, so hold on now. Damn near every school have some type of committee. That old school stuff. That's why y'all take football. Y'all understand what football means, and y'all been doing that because I'm gonna go back on you. After W.C. Gordon, then there was Carson, then there was Judge, and then y'all screwed up.
Well, hold on. But when it came to Carson and Judge, there was no strict committee with that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you guys have done it the right way.
No. Hold on. No, but let me stop you. Because a street committee came in play. Because it was some street committee and some of that when it came to bail and after then.
That's what I'm saying. Bail, I was gonna say y'all screwed up when y'all brought Bell in there.
We don't say that.
You know why Bell got that job, Zoe?
We don't.
His cousin was the AD.
So we don't do 4-letter words right here. You hear the game, we say TC. Them just 2 letters, dog. We don't say 4-letter words.
So it's rumored that a championship coach was recently up for a job, and literally the street committee derailed his appointment. A championship coach. And we won't get into the specifics, but is that a problem? How do you feel about the street committee as a whole? And and can you trust their agendas?
Well, it honestly, Rocket, it just depends. I mean, look, let's just cut the chase, man. We do with black folk. A lot of times, black folk, man, if I give my money, I want influence and I won't say so. Right? Let's just call it what it is. I mean, but
you're talking now.
Look, the same thing make you laugh can make you cry, but vice versa. Guess what? Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. Like it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad and vice versa. It ain't 100% of everything. So can the street, for all intents and purposes, I think yes, if they got too much leeway, it can be a problem. It can be a hindrance. But shit, sometimes it can be a damn good thing because guess what?
Give me an example.
Okay, we got a coach that's horrible as hell in his second year. We want him gone because we see it's bad. We're going to go ahead and get this money up and get him up out of there because we won't change.
Well, okay. That one I think we both understand that's driven by performance. I'm talking about when I'm up for a job, right?
And I'm the right guy.
And I have a championship pedigree, and you bring out when I cussed out my 3rd grade teacher in elementary. You know, you bring even more so. You bring up something that a situation where my worst day in my life, right? Mm-hmm. I get arrested for something, DWI, a domestic dispute, whatever. And whatever that charge is later dismissed. Should the street committee still hold that against me even though there's not a conviction?
Well, see, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't think when it regards to that, in a quote unquote street committee, it's not really a committee. It could be a heavy influential one person or 2 people. It's not everybody because, as you know, dealing with black folk ain't nothing's ever 100%. So, is it a flaw when you have one person with that much influence and power to want to go against something? Sure, it could be under the right guys, but at the same token, could it be a good thing? Yes, it can. It just depends on the lens. Now, like I said, the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. So, yeah, is it unfair sometimes that you may have done something 10 years ago? Man, look, if I got my mind set on somebody else that I really, really want and I got influence, it don't matter what you did. I'm going to use whatever I got against you to keep it away from you if I want what I want. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a street committee. It's probably one heavy influential person or vice versa. But just like it's a bad example, like I gave, you can flip it on its head and have another good example in the same way. Because I can I can have 4 or 5 people wanting to hire this god awful person that we don't want to have. But I got more cachet and money to turn the tide and really hire Willie Simmons here.
You cut
because
the money.
Because he goes to Prairie View. Look, because he goes to Prairie View, we don't want nobody from Prairie View because they lost 80 games, you know what I'm saying, in a row. We don't want nobody with no Prairie View losing dust coming over here. We want a Mississippian, right? I'm just giving an example. And guess what? But Willie Simmons is the right hire. If I got more money to outbid everybody, then guess what? It was a beneficial thing. Because at the end of the day, if he gets here and he starts winning, the street committee, guess what they're gonna be doing? On the same side with everybody else because he winning.
Well, let me say this, and this is what I really think. Ultimately, and Prairie View's hired, right? They hired Tremaine Jackson, right? There was no street committee involved in that. AD Golf made the hire, and he went out for the right guy. We believe. Granger wasn't given that latitude, right, to do so. Matter of fact, let's even be more specific. Tremaine Jackson was available when Fred McNair and Dishman were up for the job. They could have went after him then.
But you know what, Rocky? They probably never even went after Tremaine Jackson at all. We don't know. I'm gonna give you an example.
He interviewed. He
Now,
interviewed.
I'm gonna give you another example. I'm gonna give you another example, and Steve can vouch for what I'm about to say. W.C. Gordon, greatest coach in Jack State history, won 8 championships in 11 years. Coach hell at Jackson State, could never be comfortable, and he was kicking ass and taking names. And guess what? He didn't leave on his own terms. He didn't leave on his own terms. Still wanted to coach.
If you want, and we can start talking about that too. You know,
so
HBCUs will get rid of a winning coach as well. I ain't speaking of myself. I'm speaking of they will get rid of him. Pete Richardson was forced out. 17 winning seasons and 1 losing season.
Hell, Eddie Robinson was forced out.
Well, damn, coach, he was damn near 90.
But what I'm saying is, how do guys? Because this is what I believe, Zoe, as somebody coming from the outside and learning HBCU history. I don't believe simultaneously. If we go back 2 years ago when me and Coach Cole first met, and he was teaching me the history of the SWAC, and I went back and looked at all the championship coaches who had won 20 years prior, right? So that would be from 2022 to 2002. None of all those coaches was gone other than Fred McNair, and we had a bubble championship by Maynard, and then of course Forbes would be eventually let go. Mm-hmm. Why none of those championship guys were in coaching? I know everybody. Is it a trend there, or was it an anomaly?
I think it's a trend.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all three of you this. Does it show from, and probably me and you know Bishop and Zoe, I don't know how old Zoe is. He looks real young. And I know it, and I don't want to be unfair to HBCUs. And now, of course, they got the money deal, but that's just happened. Do you think Bishop and Zoe from the 80s, 90s up to 2020 that our product has changed?
Very much so.
Would you think, or would you put it on coaches, on switching out coaches so much? I think that's what Rocky is kind of getting to.
No, I don't put it on just coaches.
The quality of coaches. No, now, I'm not trying to talk about anybody.
No.
But we had some good guys, has a lot of experience.
Coach,
I will say this, to be frankly and point blank, it's a multitude of reasons, right? Part of it is coaching turnover. Part of it was paying coaches, because before Southern made that drastic change to give Pete Richardson that major bump in pay, he was the highest paid coach in all of FCS.
205.
The first HBCU coach to get paid that kind of money, we weren't paying coaches good before then. And we didn't have a huge staff, big staffs at that time, during that time as well. But also the product depreciated. The talent started to reduce. You know what I'm saying? There were a lot of different things that happened from the toward the end of the 90s, switching over to 2000, because I always use the demarcation. Let's just start the year 2000, right? Because we know the SWAC was strong in the 70s, 80s, up into the mid-90s. The advent of the SWAC championship game started in 1999. From the advent of that game, and matter of fact, the first SWAC game was Jackson and Southern. I think we got about 48,000 people at that game in Birmingham. You look even at the SWAC championship game and how it actually looked from that game starting in 2000 on down to 2025, and you can see the reduction, not just in the quality of play, but the quality in coaching, the shortchanging of the coaching staffs, so many other things. The fact that we even had a conference-wide apparel deal back in 2005. Look at so many decisions making that happened from 2000, and I say things started to kind of right themselves. I'm gonna actually say when Deion Sanders got to the conference, things started to change at that particular point.
So you're saying that there's better coaches now than then?
I'm not saying it's better coaches. I'm saying that we're trending back up to get to that point now.
Okay.
I think the hiring of Sam Shade and the hiring of Tremaine Jackson are two damn good decisions in the right direction. I like where we are from a coaching staff and Terrell Buckley. I think from a coaching standpoint, I like what the stable of coaches that we have in comparison to the MEAC, but I also think it's a good stable of coaches. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to see some things with Pine.
I disagree with you, and again, the only way we can judge that is by their body of work, right or wrong.
Coach, that kind of
look at the MEAC. You look at Morgan at what's my man Wilson at Morgan State, Winter, Boyd State.
No.
Can't say enough about Boyd State.
I gotta stop you right there. You are what your resume says you are. He ain't won shit in 2 years.
In 2 years.
Hold on. We live in the real world. Guess what?
Do we need to go back and talk about the coaches today?
You update your resume.
Do we need to talk about the coaches today?
You can't live out what you did 3 years ago. Tremaine Jackson just went to the national. Hold on. Tremaine Jackson just went to the D2 national championship. He can stay on that.
Come on.
TC Taylor, Tremaine Jackson,
Sam Shea, SAC Chiefs championship.
I like that. Now
TC Taylor.
TC Taylor.
Okay.
Then you got Terrell Buckley. Terrell Buckley is a damn good hire back. Up and coming.
We're talking about comparing coaches now.
I'm naming all the coaches.
Do you see Terrell Buckley's resume?
Yes,
he's a career coach.
What he did as a head coach?
He coached in the XFL for 1 year and had a losing season in his inaugural season.
So let's talk about them guys in the 90s. Doug Williams, L.C. Cole, those guys in the 90s. Was Comedy, I think Comedy was in the 90s. Pete Richardson. You could name them all, Coach. All of them was good guys.
All of them good.
Well, not all 9 or all 10, but damn 7 or 8. You had Melvin Spears came behind that. You see what I'm saying? So you had some good. Charlie Cole. You had Barlow. Huh?
You said Barlow. Hold on. What did Barlow win?
Barlow went to the championship. Barlow had several winning seasons.
I said, what did he win?
Well, look, he won the East Division.
Oh my God, bro.
But he did.
This is my point. My point is this, though. It wasn't to say that the quality of coaching, because I'm not at a place where I can evaluate that. You know what I mean? Over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But what I can say is, when you come into a league in 2022, and you look at the coaches, and the coach who has the most tenure is Connell Maynard, and basically all your other coaches are relatively inexperienced, relatively new. I think it was Maynard and Fred McNair when we looked at it that had tenure as coaches. Mm-hmm. All the rest of the coaches were first, second year, or unsuccessful in their campaigns.
Let me say this before.
Let's speak to the example that I was giving, though, Rock.
I want to let you go, Zoe. I want to make sure we're not talking nothing negative about the present guys. I want to make sure we're not talking about nothing negative, because Zoe, I'll get blamed and everything else. We're not talking negative about it, but when you start talking about guys and their resume and what they've done, that's what I want to make sure. But go ahead, Zoe. I'm sorry.
No, but I was rocking to your point. I'm actually speaking to that, right? To your point, because that's one of the dichotomies to it, right? The example you gave was, I had certain coaches, but it was Maynard or somebody else, but the rest of the coaches were inexperienced. If you look now, Terrell Buckley's in his first year, but that's a high-profile hire at Mississippi Valley State. That stands for something. You got Sam Shea. Okay, he's in his first year, but he's an accomplished coach. You go into Tremaine Jackson. He just coached the national championship game on the D2 level. That's some accomplishment going into a Prairie View, right? So what I'm saying is, and you have TC Taylor, who just won a HBCU national championship. There is a buzz with the hiring within the SWAC.
And you got to give Eddie Robinson his flowers, too. I think he's done a great job.
He could have consolation prize for coming in second place. Okay. So, but what I'm getting at is, but even still, he's done a damn good job since he's been there. This is no shade on Eddie Robinson. He's won at Alabama State. He superseded who coached before Eddie Robinson?
Right.
Donald Ely.
My man, he's at Georgia Tech.
Dunhill Ely. And who coached?
Ely.
Because he surpassed, I think, Barlow and Dunhill Ely.
Yeah.
Both. Right? Because he's established some consistency there. So what?
But even I'll bring up a guy that we were going to have on the show, and I learned this last week. Brian Jenkins came from Bethune-Cookman to take a job at Alabama State, and I was going to get Coach Cole to explain why would a person make that move, but you know I didn't get a chance to. He's not here today.
Brian Jenkins, when he was at Bethune-Cookman, was rolling. He was annihilating FAMU. They beat Florida International. They had a couple of FBS wins while he was the head coach. Bethune-Cookman was a dominant winning program in the MEAC under Brian Jenkins. Got to ASU and kind of, did what ASU do, right? Didn't win a championship. So, but what I'm saying is right now, to your point, to your question, Rocky, there's a buzz within the coaches in the SWAC more so than the MEAC right now. And technically so, and I think we're headed in the right direction. But also to your earlier question, to prove that point, the quality of the product diminished in year 2000. The tide changed with Deion Sanders. Because I think now, there aren't many committees now within the SWAC. There's still some, but I think now ADs are trying to, because I think we turned the corner with regard to the product in the HBCU ranks within the SWAC since Deion Sanders came there. Because again, I've never in my life since I was a kid have ever talked about Valley in the way that I talk. I have a legit, honest buzz and excitement for Mississippi Valley. Interest there. There are some damn good storylines in the SWAC this season, far better than what we had last season, right? And again, I think Sam Shea is a damn good hire, Alabama A&M. Again, they have some good pieces. I'm expecting good things from them. I'm expecting damn good things from Prairie View. There's a buzz, for Prairie View. They're putting out damn good content. They weren't doing that under Bubba McDowell. They're doing it now. They dropped some content today. There is a buzz there. FAMU, the Rattlers are still the Rattlers, right? There's a buzz there in year 2 of Cozy to see what that's going to look like. So again, that buzz is there, and we're trending upward. And I think the demarcation or the tide per se, we were down from 2000. I'm gonna say until Will Prime got here. There's been a significant shift, not just at Jackson State, but all the schools in the SWAC and how they handle business, what they're doing, and the moves they're making to try to get to Atlanta.
Hey, I just wanted to say this to answer Edwin Moore. No, you didn't miss Brian Jenkins. He had a scheduling conflict on his end, and at the last minute, we decided we're going to go forward with a show and talk about the coaching hires and inconsistency in how coaches are selected in HBCU football. And so I just wanted to point that out. So Zoe and Mr. Campbell and Coach, you guys we've been had a great conversation around that. I'll ask either one of y'all, and I'll ask Mr. Campbell this question. When it comes to hiring coaches, what do you see as the biggest difference between how the PWI select coaches and how HBCU select coaches?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if there's a big difference because you still have people, look, that guy down there, Jimmy Rain down at Auburn, is in all the mess down at Auburn. You're not hiring a coach without talking to Jimmy Rain, point blank, period. And I can tell you a name of each guy at every SEC school that's like that. So the thing about it is, it goes back. Hey, listen, Zoe basically said what I said. What did I tell you guys before? If you got a solid AD, the coaching hire goes pretty good. Did I not say that earlier? I said exactly that. If the AD is not strong and can outside influence come, guess what? Then you have a lot of this stuff. So again, I can't speak about this other school. That might be an issue with the AD. I don't know that AD. I don't know their background. I don't know what their issue is. But if you've got a strong AD, AD say, hey, I'm going to stand on my own business. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to live with it. That's what strong ADs do. So again, I think with the SWAC, and again, I think always with the HBCU, it's quality of coach versus money that can be paid. Because there are guys that we know that are great wide receiver coaches, running back coaches, that probably could be a head coach. And if you say, hey, man, I can't leave. I'm making $550 at LSU. I can't leave. These are guys that I'm just going to wait my turn here. Well, they could come down to our level and maybe be a great head coach. So that's the thing about it. I don't think that everybody in any athlete in college football, they are going to have certain alumni groups, no matter what level you're on, that are going to be in the mix. Florida has a very, very messy alumni association. Very messy. That is well known in the state of Florida. Nothing goes on without the Florida alumni okaying it. They will get rid of guys. FSU, Auburn, Alabama, LSU. What do you think? Texas A&M. What do you think goes on down in Texas A&M? Rocky, that's your area.
Yeah.
Those guys don't blink.
Matter of fact, the AD had hired another coach other than Elo, and they say this plane is not leaving to go pick up that guy. This plane is only leaving to go pick up Elo.
And guess what? And that was their plane. See, be clear. That wasn't a Delta ticket. That was his plane.
And what Texas A&M plane it was his plane.
That's why I said it's his plane, the booster's plane.
Yes.
So see, there's a whole other, play. But I'm gonna say something again with the coach. I will say this, and I think again the transition to me has always been when you saw, and I'm gonna use the SWAC because the SWAC and the SEC are so intertwined together.
Yep.
Their rise was the SWAC's downfall because the guys we got, they went to the SEC, and when they got the SEC contract, that's when you saw the quality talent go there. Now, what I have hoped, and it's like bits and pieces, because again, maybe we'll talk about the Legacy Bowl tomorrow. But one of the things that I thought that the transfer portal was going to do was bring a little bit more talent down to the SWAC level, and guys would come and say, you know what, I can play here and get to the NFL. I think that's still hit and miss. I think that's still open for judgment and things like that. But once again, the level of talent is all, because let me tell you something, Coach knows this. You can't be no great coach without great players.
You know the crazy thing is that if you pay attention, there's a couple of players. Me and Scotty had a conversation. I don't know if Keyshawn Johnson from Alabama State, but I know Chalk from Grambling. Those players went on to be all conference players in Group of 5 teams, and those players played in the SWAC last year. So my point of saying that is, you guys might be right about the talent being ascending in the SWAC based on previous years, but you always have the problem of, can you keep the talent in the SWAC? And in those two cases, you may have been able to retain those players had you retained the coaches, the offensive coordinator in Alabama State situation, and then the head coach in Hugh Jackson in a Chalk situation.
Well, let me say this, because I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Even in this decline area, where I say from year 2000 to 2020, right, the 20-year gap, and I say the talent decreased. Yeah, it was just the quantity of that talent. The SWAC still in that time had damn good talent. You can always find DBs, receivers, linebackers, tight ends, running backs in the SWAC by the boatload. The deficiency really became in the trenches and at quarterback. And then again, even if you could have, one good lineman, on an O-line, but the, one standout O-lineman that could get drafted, and then you'll have, 3 guys that's really ain't cutting the mustard. I mean, you look at, I always tell everybody, if you think Steve McNair was something in 1994, his senior year, just imagine what he would have looked like with a standout O-line, because that O-line he had was atrocious. Just imagine if they had a decent defense. There was talent on their team, because people fail to remember, Steve McNair got drafted, I think, with the 3rd pick of the draft. Hey, man, guess the next year, guess who win the top 10? John Theory from Alcorn to the Chicago Bears. Like, there's always been talent. Jackson State has the last 2 first-round draft picks in all of black college football, and it was in the year 2000. And we lost the SWAC championship game. We had 2 first-round picks in 2000, Sylvester Morris and Rashard Anderson, who went, I believe, 21st and 23rd in the first-round draft. So again, there's plenty of talent in the SWAC. I just think with the things changing now since Prime came, I just think that gap that we had in that 20-year gap, I think the quantity is coming back. Now, granted, there's some other things with that, right? With regards to, the portal, and NIL, you know what I'm saying? And now it's more attractive because Prime came to Jackson State. I just think now that gap that was so wide is closing up now because now we're starting to give more guys to all of our teams.
Well, I think that I don't necessarily think it's Prime per se that he did bring one of the top players in. I think they changed the transfer rule. You know, back then you had to get a piece of paper and they had to go get it signed. Then they had to give it to you, and then you were able to contact the kid. Now the kid can make the initial transfer deal, and that they made it easier for a kid. I think that has a whole lot to do with it now, so you can transfer from place to place. Back in there, it was like a one transfer rule, and if you was at a Division 1A, you could transfer down and play, but you couldn't transfer across, and so you had to sit out. And you know, they took you through they found out you were talking to people on the phone. You know, that was an NCAA violation, and how you was getting in touch. So I think they made that a lot easier now than it was back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, Coach, when I mentioned Prime, you're absolutely right. And I just want to make sure I get this context. When I mentioned Prime, it really only is under the context of when he came to the SWAC, he made it more attractive in a
cool.
broad scope.
He made it cool.
He made it more cool and made it from a broad scope. Down south, it was what it was, Coach. I just think in a broad landscape, he made it attractive to want to play HBCU ball. That's why I say I
agree. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with it because he brought a big fish. He brought a big, the biggest fish you can get.
But this is the last statement I'll make, and this is probably going to be directed at Bishop. And you talk about the strength of the AD, right? You guys, when I say you guys, I mean FAMU, went through a situation where y'all just wouldn't let an AD make the decision she wanted to make. Ultimately, you guys believe it was in the best interest of y'all institution, right? But no, and I'm being straight up with Steve in this regard. Y'all as an alumni association and auxiliary groups did what y'all had to do. But overall, is that practice good for HBCU sports?
Well, okay. See, this is why I always, and I'm going to shout out my boys Ken Rashad and them over HBCU. You're doing what they do. You can't tell half the story. Because, see, let's roll back. I'm
giving you a chance to explain it, though. I'm not making any assertions here.
So, hey, Rocky, what you saying? They chose the head coach.
No, an action to a reaction. Let's go back. We had a quality head coach. We had the best coach in HBCU football that wanted to get an extension. She told him, I don't think you're worth that. She did that. We found out about it. That coach then proceeds to leave, okay? Then what does she do? Instead of building bridges and saying, hey, I've got my friend, and let's be very clear. Sean Gibbs, he has not denied it. They are all over social media. Her trap and all are thick as thieves. They are friends. Do you understand this? They are friends. So that ain't no, I like him because he's a great coach. That is her boy. So what does she do? She goes and tries to sneak her boy in. Did she talk to the F Club, the 220 Club, the National Alumni Association, and say, here's a guy I'm thinking about? She did none of that. We found out about it. So when you go and have a championship head coach that was on his way to win a Celebrate Bowl and say he wasn't worth it, then you try to sneak your guy in through the back door. And you know what? This is what you get. It's an action to a reaction. Now, I'm going to go to Zoe's part. And Zoe knows this. When Ashley Robinson wanted to get Deion, Zoe knows this. He talked to a couple of folks and said, hey, I got an opportunity. And I know who those folks were. And they were like, I'm cool with that. He didn't just roll Deion in there and just say, Deion, to hell with that. He did not. He socialized the people because that was a big, the name is Deion. But that still was a risk he was taking, okay? Deion had never coached on that level. Deion could have flamed out. He totally could have flamed out. I'm glad he didn't for Jack State and HBCU football. But Ashley Robinson also knew, hey, there are people that are stakeholders that need to be talked about. So this is the bottom line fact. So it wasn't that, oh, we didn't want her because we didn't like her. It's because if you treat me bad and don't have a conversation with me, you're going to get the same energy back.
No. What I'm simply saying, let's take FAMU out of the deal because I didn't mean to hit a nerve that way. What I was simply saying,
no, it's not a nerve. You asked the question because I keep hearing this. So I'm saying you got to understand something. There was a reaction to an action. Because I tell you what, we might not have been here. She told Willie, "I'm gonna give you his money."
So let me ask you this here: when Granger wants to hire Fred McNair, is it good for HBCU sports to have his decisions undermined by other stakeholders, members of boards, alumni associations? Is that overall good for HBCU?
Well, let me answer that. Hold on. I'm gonna set it up. Hold on one second.
I gotta take the question.
Because the thing about it is, now, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. The issue with Fred McNair was the money that they wanted to pay him. That became the issue. Coach, am I wrong on that?
Yeah,
money was not an issue.
They already had approved. They already had approved whoever was going to be the head coach was going to make 310, I think, and they were worried about the process in which it happened. Pretty much what you guys went through at Florida A&M, and then that's when they got involved in it. And at one time they were talking about a lawsuit at one time. So I don't think it was the money. I think it more was the process. And the same thing I shared with you guys about ADs getting a guy and communicating with a guy and just going through the process without just what you said, Mr. Campbell, of talking to the right people. And that's why I don't think, Zoe, that you should have committees. You know what I mean? You got the dorm director, you got the cafeteria person, you got the financial aid person, you got these people don't. You trying to hire a football coach.
Well, here's the thing, because I think the lines are getting blurred, and Steve made a just good point, and I want to make sure we get some understanding, right? There's one thing when we say street committee, right? It's a whole different entity when you're talking about, okay, I'm an AD, and I'm going to make this singular decision on who I'm going to coach, right? Steve used the word stakeholders. I'm going to kind of segue into that because bear in mind, and this is a segue into Rocky's question, and that is, every state is different. And even in Mississippi, there's a Tiger Fund, there's a Blue Bend Athletic Association. They supplement income, right? So again, even a coach, he's going to have to talk to, I'm going to use stakeholders, hey, to agree on the salary. And, if we're going to get this guy, but then to, his point, if those stakeholders are like, we don't like this decision, we don't want to pay this decision, man, if you got 5 people that's really overpaying it, they have the power and the what's the word I want to use? And
I believe I'm with Mr. Campbell. I believe that's a great way. The AD comes. I mean, just like the head basketball coach now back at St. John, the AD, he had told his people, let's put together some names. And then he had a friend tell him, man, you only need one name. And the first thing the AD did was went and talked to, you got Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah. He went and talked to him and see if he was interested. Then he had to come back and talk to what you said, Cal, all the stakeholders.
Our stakeholders.
Of saying, guys, what we want. Oh, that's the same thing when they hired Deion Sanders. That guy that just didn't go in and brought Deion in and say he got the okay to bring Deion Sanders in.
And you got to agree on the contract.
I believe in that. That's why I don't believe in these big old committees. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the game. You know what I mean? They don't understand. Then everybody gets big now. I'm on the committee, and then your boy calling and your girl calling, and I got a friend, and that's how I think a lot of these jobs get screwed up.
Well, let me address something because was that Mary right now looks like what's that? As we would have been okay with Sean Gibbs. I'm going to say this again. Nobody had a problem with Coach Gibbs. What happened with Coach Gibbs, the issue was, it was like, okay, we're doing this in the cloak of night. This is my guy, and you take him. I believe if she would have brought Coach Gibbs to the F Club, the 220 Club, the FAMU boosters, right, and say, here's a guy I want you guys to meet. Here's a guy that I think is an up-and-coming coach. Here's a guy that I think it would have been totally different. And matter of fact, I know it would have been totally different because I knew what the outrage was. So I think, again, and see, I'm going to make this statement for all you young people. When you are trying to build something, the word you have to build, the word you need to use is consensus. You need to build consensus. If you know you have different factors, and this goes to your jobs and things like that, because if you try to go my way to highway, unless you are somebody at that level of an Ashley Robinson, where you know that you got enough chips in the game that you can lose them all and still have chips in the bag, then you can make that move. But when you don't have no chips in the game, bro, you got to go borrow chips from other people playing this game. And that's the failure that I've seen on certain situations. And even with some of these hiring with these other ADs, they go out and they want to talk to a guy. They don't sit back and find out, hey, is this the person that fits our culture? Because this goes back to the Sam Shea thing. I think, hey, listen, I'm a Sam Shea fan. I saw Sam Shea play. I know who he was. I told you this. But to Zoe's point, his fit was at Alabama A&M. His fit was not at Delaware State. It had nothing to do with his coaching ability. It's about maximizing his ability on where he was at. He's going to maximize his ability at Alabama A&M compared to being at Delaware State because, to your point, Coach, he is in Alabama. He is Alabama. It is nothing but a phone call away from him. And how about this? Alabama got way more football players than Delaware does. So that's the reason why, to Zoe's point, I think why you got to look at both points and a little bit different. In Alabama, his name rings bells. He knows the coaches. He played at Alabama. He can go get money. Delaware State, he started from ground one. Deshaun Jackson can come in there because his name is going to bring people in. And because he played professional football.
And to your point, Steve, and Deshaun Jackson did a pretty damn good job so late in the recruiting process, right, with the class that he got. Sam Shea doesn't get the same caliber of class that Deshaun Jackson did the same time frame at Delaware State. It just doesn't happen. And this is not a knock on Sam Shea because I think he's a damn good coach. But there's a thing called fit. He fits at Alabama A&M. It was the right hire. It fits.
Like I say, guys, I agree with the Sam Shea situation. I just was going on off of the thing that happened to this unnamed coach, how the street committee, alumni, whoever you want to call it, got to the president and AD or whoever was on the hiring committee.
Let me throw something else at you too. And everybody, Zoe and Coach Cole knows this. And you too, Rocky, because this goes back. If you're going to a public position, they tell you, I'm going to select the vice president. They're going to vet you all the way back to you were out the womb. So you are a head coach of a football team. You know what good, bad it is. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. So my thing is, what you do is, if I know I've done something that maybe people might have questions about, not that I did anything wrong, right? Question about, I'm going to answer the question before you even ask it. So I'm going to go to this.
Hey, my name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.